can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the king, Kong.
All right.
You can beat the world, you can beat the
Hall of
world.
Fame.
Got the guy go banging on his door.
Yeah, I love it.
You can beat the
Good selection, Melissa.
You can break rocks. You can
That's
be a
me.
master. Don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you go back.
See?
Standing in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame, baby. In the Hall of Fame. Woo! Yeah, we'll have to get the rights to these music, you know? Wow. I'll tell you what. Good evening, everyone, to the last interview of the night before we do our, what is that, a beach party tonight or something, right, Richard?
The virtual job party.
On Zoom?
On Zoom, from the beach.
From the beach. All right. I get the privilege of introducing a colleague of mine I've known for a little bit. Wow, Melissa Godfrey. How are you?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good. What is that little town you're located in? Mooresville?
I am a proud resident of Mooresville, Pennsylvania.
What the heck is that?
Middle of nowhere.
That's what I said.
That's why I'm a proud resident.
And what I like, what's that?
One stoplight, right?
No stoplight.
Probably all she has up there.
We are famous because we literally have a fork in the road. Like they put a fork at the Y. It has a spoon. That's the stop sign. And then they put a fork next to it. That's what we're famous.
Oh, my God. I'll tell you. No, and I'm going to get into why I wanted to have her on as a special guest afterwards. But, you know, she's in project management and she's really hit me with like the motivation, accountability, and excuses. And I'm going to explain that afterwards. But Rich, I'm going to hand it over to the host, the staffing shark, Rich Rosener.
Melissa, well, I'm glad you showed up and I'm glad you're here. So we're going to deep dive right into it. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. What makes you you?
So I am a project manager extraordinaire, but over and above that, I am an adrenaline junkie. I really enjoy riding in the mountains down in West Virginia or up in County. I love whitewater rafting. I love skydiving. I love, I guess you would say, taking risks. Usually very mitigated risks, you know, safe, but nevertheless, I just love getting out and living. I'm thankful to be blessed to live in one of the most beautiful areas around, and so I get out there and enjoy it.
Oh, God.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, you know, that's what it's all about, nature and getting out there and enjoying stuff, you know. Just
absolutely.
If you're whitewater rafting, just be careful. Just a quick story. I did whitewater rafting about 2 years ago for a work trip. Right? Mm-hmm. Our whole raft flipped on a level 4 rapid.
Oh my gosh.
I went out, lost my shoe, went down the river. We had it guided. There was people there because it's a dangerous rock. They threw it out there. I missed it the first time. Second time I grabbed it to pull myself in. Thank God I'm a good swimmer. I went down twice and flew down. Water was going in me. I'm telling you what, when I got up, I said, I'm taking about a 5-year break from this. But that was whitewater rafting for me, Dave. If you see the raft, it was up like this. And I was like, okay, everybody for themselves. 6 people.
Was that for like team building? Like team building for a company? Is that
Yeah, we didn't sign any release form either. Tell me that.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I'll tell you what, I fucked a couple of people out of the water myself, you know, people that were in bad straits and was able to help them.
I'd throw them out. If my last boss, I'd throw them out. If I had my staff, if my last employer, you know, they know who I am. If I had the choice and I was in the boat with them all, you got to be kidding me. You wouldn't put me on there with him.
Dave,
I know. I'll calm down.
Staffing shark.
All right.
I have to ask, would it be staffing shark infected waters? Like, would it be?
Oh, I get it. That was funny.
Come on. I stayed up all night to think of that.
That was a great joke. I'm not even going to gong you on that one. Okay, we'll go with that.
I will give that to you because you two are the most adrenaline. I know her personally. So right now, like I said, there goes the neck veins. You're the most adrenaline people that I know right now. All right. So go ahead, Richard.
No,
you got me started on that.
Man, you brought back flashbacks from the raft. Oh,
you're welcome. I want to make sure you're appreciating today, you know, that you're alive today.
One thing I know now is, you know, we're opening up, you know, I can see that you have passion and you're bubbly and, you know, and you care about people. Plus you like the outdoors. So you're liking the simple things in life, which is great.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to throw one more at you real quick here.
Okay.
Community wise, do you have any passion? Is there any things that you give back with in the community?
Well, and give back in the community. I guess that's an interesting question. I feel like I've dedicated all of my efforts into working and being a good mom and, being a good wife. So I do help with different community events, but I spent so much time building in project management, doing my job and trying to do it well, build up, my clientele. So that's kind of where I've been focusing. And I guess my community investment would be successfully completing the projects that I've set out to do.
Good.
Because, all right, now it's my turn for only a couple minutes. Why? And I'm going to tell you about Melissa Godfrey, Mrs. Melissa Godfrey. So we met during COVID, and she had come over to the office and for jobs and search. And let me tell you, that was an experience. We didn't even know, she didn't even know why she was here. We were meant to connect, and we talked about work. And I think that work turned into about probably almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was like a 2-hour meeting. But what I learned from her was she's very on time. Let's just say that. Military, even though I'm military. If you say you're going to text at 3:50, you better text at 3:50. If you're going to send an email, she's going to hold you to that. And then once she left, this was the funny part. So everybody knows me. I don't listen sometimes. I go off subjects, let's just say.
All the time.
She calls me, and she literally said, being respectful, she gave me advice, and hope I didn't take it in a different way, but she was very forward and very professional. What she told me about, I was all over different places, different things, but in a good way. How many people would do that? And we just met, and she watched me, and she learned, and she was saying, where did I want to be? And she had me focus in on that one part. And then I learned about her background in project management. And I'll tell you what, I'm trying to think I want to be on her team because she's going to hold you accountable.
That's true. Well, and I did it. My heart was in the right place. You and I have talked about, I definitely believe in what you're trying to accomplish, and I want you to be successful. I see the great things you're accomplishing already, the great connections and how you're helping people. And I mean, that's just such an important thing that you're doing. People come to you and they're looking for, ways to take care of their life, their family, and you're helping them with that. So
but you really told me when you get a project, you tell me when you get a project, you do what? I mean, you don't mess around.
No, I'm usually, that's what I said. I'm very driven. So I really enjoy the project management field. I enjoy taking something and building it into a beautiful end result. And so maybe you were my pet project, I guess. I don't know. Look at how beautiful you've become.
Pet project or Pet Rock? Which one was it? Pet Rock.
Well, and like we said about just talking about it, is we've had a couple of different shows, and you wouldn't realize how one or couple words have changed somebody.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I was like, wow. But then we've kept in touch and we've talked, and I've learned from her because let me back up. Why do you are on time so much? Why are you want to be held what exactly? Like if you say you're going to email at 3:00, you want to have a meeting at 3:00, it better be at 3:00.
I am extremely respectful of people's minutes. So at any time, our light could be snuffed out. And so I'd really try to be mindful that I'm only given so many minutes, and so is everybody else. And so I just try to be very respectful of that. Taking it one step forward, project management is all about deadlines. I mean, if you miss a deadline, somebody's not going to be happy. And so I really pride myself in the fact that, if I say 2:00 on Tuesday, you better believe if there's something wrong, if I don't contact you at 2:00, like check the hospital's kind of wrong, because I'm very dedicated. I follow through. I'm accountable. To one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, I'm accountable. I make mistakes all the time. I own them. And I'm proud of what I accomplish. I'm proud of what I do.
And then tell me about, like, for an example, how when you said if all of a sudden you've been given 3 weeks to do that project, and then all of a sudden, remember if you told me all of a sudden, like a week into it, they said, well, it needs to be completed like now.
Happens all the time. Well, and I think that's part of the relationships that we build, right? I mean, if we're trying to get somebody to do something, we need it yesterday, that relationship has to be solidified. So that way we can call on our network and say, hey, look, I know there's a ton of other me's, but I really need your help. Are you willing to jump in and help me? And it's getting people to that place that they understand how, and I guess that goes again to the motivation, accountability, and excuses. As far as being motivated, I have said for a long time, I feel like one of my qualities is motivating people to my cause, because I really am passionate about the things that I do. And so I want other people to be able to feel that. And therefore, they have to find the thing that they're passionate about. If they're not, they make excuses. They sell themselves short. They don't accomplish as much because they're not interested. They don't care quite as much.
Or they never complete a task, right? They get
Oh, yeah.
and then they get, if it's losing weight, if it's, a job, or if it's a puzzle, they get so far and they get sidetracked, right? We're in that iPhone era where it's just, but like everything that you do, you complete.
I maybe not everything, but I aspire to. I'll tell you, it just brings me so much satisfaction. I'm a list girl. I love crossing off things on the list. So, if that's how I, whenever I'm really falling short, that's what I do is I write it down. That way I know I'm going to do.
I was going to ask you that. Do you write it down, or is it all up in here?
It used to be up in here. I'm not a kid anymore, so age is starting to have that effect.
Yeah, she's 25.
Absolutely, I am.
I wanted to ask you though, in project management alone, with even us with staffing and everything like that, when a client would ask you to do something to get a thing done, and do you feel that honest opinion to them feedback, or do you feel that sometimes you got to make an excuse? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
reality versus.
I guess you've been the recipient of my tough love. That's how I was raised. I respect my mom greatly for the fact that she gave it to me straight, whether I liked it or not. I always knew where she stood and where I was headed. I guess I don't really know any different. So my kids would say I'm all about tough love. Probably my friends, David, would say I'm about tough love. And so I would think that my customers and vendors would say that too. All my partners, that they know, it's honest. I don't sugarcoat. I don't pad. I don't really BS. I try to be very transparent. And in that, whenever I communicate with people, my heart, I just try and check myself. Is my heart in the right place? Is my message, coming from a bad place or from the right place? And as long as it's coming from the right place, then I give my thought, because it's not going to do anybody any good if we have all these ideas and we keep them to ourselves. Look at the world around us. It's full of all this greatness. It's because people have stepped outside their comfort zone and tried things. And so I just try and do my little part in that.
You got Richard. See that light? See the light behind him, how the sun's rising right now?
It is.
I know he wants to say something about that. And he's very passionate about ideas.
I want to, since everything that you've done at work and all this stuff, do you have a story you can tell us real quick? Like a wow story, good or bad? Hopefully good, like a wow story. Is there any like coworker or something that you pulled in and did what you did to Dave?
I would say probably, I don't know how comfortable everybody will be, but here goes. So, there's always times where people just lose faith. I mean, life is hard. Things get hard. And so, whenever people are trying to accomplish these great things, you get overwhelmed, you get discouraged. And so I guess to that, there's been several times that I've just pulled some of my colleagues or even some vendors or even some people who are starting their businesses aside and said, get it together. You can do this. You can accomplish anything. I'm pretty much sure I probably said something like that. And look,
suck it up. Suck it up.
Suck it up, I think is what I said to you, David. And in that, David has done the same for me.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't even know you that much. Suck it up and just do it. I was like, okay, all right.
That's because you can do it. And I wanted you to think there was no other option. And look at you now. Yeah, you are doing it.
I know.
And that's awesome, Melissa. And you know what? When I get upset, which I never really do, but when I do, and it's like, man, I can't get this solved, I look in the mirror, I just go and I say, I got to get this together. I mean, it's just almost like this. For a minute, I'm like, nobody's going to shake me. And I think that's what people needed to say. Nobody's going to shake.
I'll shake you.
Yeah,
I don't roll, right? But no, But no,
I'll shake you. I'll shake you.
you cannot have anybody break you. I think words and stuff like that, you can't take stuff to heart. And I think
Well, as long as someone's intentions are right, and that's what it boils down to. If someone is coming at you with love in their heart and trying to help you and leave you in a better place,
open up.
That's I mean, like David did the same thing for me the other day. He called me and said, "What are you doing? Like, get it together. This is not the Melissa Godfrey that I know and love."
She was late. She was late 3 or 4 times, Richard.
Late?
No, I was not. I was early.
No, 1 minute early. You were 1 minute early.
I was early because I had to throw him off.
I'm sorry. I asked her, "What is wrong with you?" Because wait a minute here. I looked at the clock. I'm like, "Oh, I got 1 more minute. I got 1 more minute." And she called me then. I'm like, "Oh my God, I got to jump. I got to answer this because she's going to complain. She's going to say you didn't answer."
I'll drive there and I will find you.
But that was the funny part.
That's a promise, Dave.
But it is. It's holding the accountability and the respect that I have her for Melissa now. And likewise, I was able to go back to her and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And it's what we learned all week, Richard, as I'm going to say, it's just reaching out to somebody and saying, "Hey, what's wrong? What's up? Something's wrong."
And you know what, David? You changed the trajectory of my life by doing that. So I'm thankful. I'm really thankful because it's not always easy to do, right? No. You know, it's not always easy to call somebody and say, you know, "Hey, you gotta get it together." But you were willing to do that for me too, and I'm grateful.
No, thank you. And I know Rich has got the final say here. I know what he's going to say.
We're going to wrap it up. But no, I just want to tell you, Melissa, you know, like I call it the Shark's final thoughts. You know, it's, you know, just everything you're doing right now, just keep doing it. I mean, you know, we need people like you in this world. And I say this to all my guests because every guest on here has a special place in my heart. I really mean that too. I mean, everybody's came on, take time out of their day to come on. This is not about being exposed. This is about you expressing yourself so other people around the world can hear this. And this is true to me. I mean, really, this whole Staffing Shark Week is about collaboration. That's what it's all about. You know, it's about, you know, we're all in it together. And that's why I bring so many different stories together. You know, just so keep doing that whip, keep keeping people accountable. And we're going to do our, you know what I'm going to do after 3, right? You ready for it?
I know.
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Shark! All right. Thanks,
so much,
everybody. Melissa, thank you. And we'll be talking. And we got to get ready for this. I don't know. Beach party. What is it, Rich?
It's called the Sharks Job Party, live from Ocean City, New Jersey.
So I have to play the music from here and watch everybody on the beach do job it.
And networking all in your picture cube. Can't beat it.
Can't beat it. All right. I'm going to be I should put a beach sign behind me. Well, it's like something with a beach, but I don't think a suit.
Disco light, whatever you got back there. Probably a disco ball you probably have at your house somewhere.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Rich. We'll talk to everybody.
Take care.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me. Take care.